Hey guys, it's Sunday, 8:03 p.m. on October 21st, 2018, and thanks to the Never Lose Truth channel, I have been informed of a hurricane called Willa that is supposed to be off the west coast of Mexico here. So I want you to go subscribe to her channel because she's usually the one who tips me off on these stupid storms. And I'm going to be using some of the links from one of her videos today to demonstrate to you what I propose is actually happening here. But first, let me take you to CNN, and I want you to hear what this particular reporter has to say, because this, people, should break your brain. And let me explain to you why it should break your brain so you'll be able to brace for it. Basically, what he's going to tell you is that a hurricane is going to traverse Mexico, and it's going to become a tropical something or other. But I want you to look at the terrain in Mexico here, guys. It doesn't look tropical here. Why? Because there's a desert. So the fact that he's going to tell you that a tropical storm is going to traverse the desert of Mexico is absolutely absurd. But the reason that they're making this report, you guys, is because the objective here is to communicate to you that to expect flooding in Texas. That's what the real takeaway here is. But I want to show you, as after I finish this clip here, I'm going to take you through some of the research that I've done today on particular storms that have happened historically in this area, and demonstrate to you that there's no way that this storm is going to traverse all the way up to Texas. That really, what they're telling you guys is to get ready for what this instrument is going to bring in. It's this instrumentation that's going to actually bring the flooding in Texas, and it has absolutely nothing to do with this. So let's listen to this clip here.
Update from the National Hurricane Center. This is the latest information we can give you. And just as this recurves to the north and east, look at that. It goes from a Category 1 to a Category 3 to a Category 4, perhaps winds over 140 miles per hour before starting to temporarily weaken, before reaching the mainland of Mexico. And then moving inland, it becomes a tropical disturbance that then produces a significant amount of rain in the flood-stricken central and western sections of Texas. So the United States will feel the impacts of Willa.
Okay, so he just said that a tropical storm is going to traverse inland across Mexico. You guys, that's a desert. There's not a tropical anything happening over a desert. It doesn't happen that way. Okay, so they're obviously trying to come up with some sort of an alibi for why we're going to have rain in Texas. Now, there's two ways to look at this. First of all, what else could be causing the rain in Texas that they're so concerned about? Well, I'm going to show you those radars in just a second here and what Never Lose Truth found on her channel. And I'm going to put the links in the description. I want you guys to go subscribe to her channel because she's on top of this too. But I want to take a look at the actual alibi that they're giving here about how absurd it could be to even propose that a hurricane could go this far, because I'm going to take you guys through what I did today. I studied through some of these American Meteorological Society journals, just going through the Eastern Pacific hurricane season by different years. I went across 1968, 1970s, 1990s. I went across a couple of these, and I want to point out just some highlights here. That yes, sometimes storms do go, and first of all, I was just surprised to learn that they actually did have hurricanes here, because as you can see, we don't have any buoys here. Well, I would imagine that the reason we don't have any buoys here is because, you guys, these storms don't usually impact the United States, as I'm going to show you. But they have been tracing them, and what I'll show you here is that, for example, where was I? Right? No, you're on just a second, puppy. Hurricane Naomi here, for example. Hurricane Naomi hit September 11th, 1968, not 2000 anything. And Naomi came in and hit shore here, and then traversed about 100 miles inland. But what happened? If you look at here, where the storm stopped, you're going to see something fascinating. This storm stopped as soon as it started to get into the desert. Because, you guys, tropical storms don't go into the desert. Same with Pauline. Pauline went as far as Pauline could go until it actually hit the desert. Now, this one's interesting because Pauline was a hurricane until it hit the Baja Peninsula. Then it became a tropical depression, or what was it, a tropical storm. But by the time it actually hit land here, you know, it had gone over too many hurdles to continue on as a tropical anything. So it just dissipated. Same with Naomi. So let's take a peek here at some of the other ones. This one, unfortunately, this one's sideways, but this one demonstrates similar things, that these storms will, you know, scatter inland until they hit the desert area. And if they hit at all, if they hit at all. A lot of these storms don't hit at all. In this particular area, what we have here is a hurricane that hit the Baja Peninsula, and then it dissipated when it went to the Gulf, and by the time it hit land again, it was just completely gone. Same thing with this storm there. Okay, this one, 1992, no hurricanes came on shore. Let's look here. This is, what year is this? I think this is 1969. Yeah, 1969, again, we see two storms that barely made it inland more than 50 to 100 miles. Okay, so these storms, they don't go inland because they're traversing across a desert. That's just the bottom line. Now, I want to point out one other detail here that I found interesting was this. Let's see if I can find it here. Did I show you this one? This one's from 1997, right here. Okay, this is from 2017. And I want you to look at this complete mess. Hull and Tipton, you ought to be ashamed of yourselves. Basically, what they do nowadays, the reason I had to use data that only went up to like 1994 and 1997 is because after they started heavily using computer models and pushing this climate change issue, they started using models, you guys, that would retrofit the data according to projected impacts of climate change. In other words, in this particular one, they took tracks from simulating the storms that had hit from 1971 to 2014, but they simulated them, folks, with data from climate change variables that would actually make it, if you look here in this particular one, it goes all the way up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and in this one, it goes all the way up to Montana. So this is the absurdity of what is being pushed through academia and considered to be viable modeling. This isn't modeling, you guys. This is brainwashing. This is an absolute mind-numbing insult of anything that has anything to do with logic or science or reasoning or zetetic consideration. Because you guys, I just showed you 50 years worth of data, and based on the prospects of the data that I just showed you, it is absolutely impossible that a model should demonstrate a storm going to Montana. Do you see how absurd this is? This is what is coming out of the halls of academia these days, you guys. And it should just hurt your brain, because it definitely hurts mine. So what I really suspect is happening here is what Never Loose Truth is pointing out here, that there are just this new instrumentation. And as I pointed out when she showed us this morning, you guys, I pointed out that this is so disgusting. It is way worse than I have ever seen it. This swinging stick thing from Louisiana to Florida, these are new. And a lot of other people agreed. This is completely new, you guys. I've never seen this bad. I mean, look at how strong these spikes are. I've seen the spikes before, but I've never seen this many. I've seen them weak, like what we see here in Michigan. And look, you guys, keep your eye on this particular graph, or this map at night, because the whole East Coast to the West Coast turns on like a Christmas tree, folks. This is so bad. It's so pathetic. And you can tell how new areas get new equipment based on how the machines work. Like right now, I mean, look at what Never Loose Truth captured here. You know, you can see that these particular sticks, it looks like Louisiana's having a lightsaber battle with Texas. And it's just terrible. Just terrible. So anyway, I just thought I'd share some of my speculation. What she points out here too is that the storm was just hovering here. It was kept offshore for quite a while. And I don't know if it's still there or not. Let's take a peek if it's still there. Yeah, it's still here. Right here. But yeah, that's my suspicion, you guys, is that this absolutely has nothing to do with the stupid hurricane, because as I've shown you, it's impossible that a hurricane, tropical anything, is going to survive going over the desert and then flood Texas. So we just have to use our brain. Now, another thing I can point out really quick before I close out here is just telling you that in this particular instance, we have satellite data is telling us what the sustained winds are. I mean, give me a break, you guys. I mean, satellite data, really? They're going to be able to measure the force of something invisible from 200 plus miles away in outer space? I don't believe it. This is a propaganda piece. No, I don't know. Maybe there is a hurricane there, but for our purposes, you know, U.S. citizens in, you know, our area, we really only care if there's flooding in Texas, and it looks like there's going to be, but it has absolutely nothing to do with this nonsense of a storm. So I'll keep you posted as this thing comes closer to shore. Hopefully I'll be able to get some wind speed readings, but you know, it really does not matter if this thing, I mean, of course, if you have relatives there, it matters. I'm not trying to say that if a storm hits her, it doesn't matter. I don't want anybody to be hurt in any storm, but I'm just saying, for our purposes, whether they're lying about this or not, there's no way we'll ever be able to prove that the hurricane didn't go across the desert. I mean, that's just something that's logical. Either you're going to believe logic or you're not. Okay, if you actually believe a hurricane can cross the desert, I can't help you. So don't even bother with my channel, because that's just something that's not going to matter. Because no hurricane can cross the desert. I mean, I hope you guys know that, right? All right, well, have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.